Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Carrie. I'm a professional voiceover artist, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I get ready for a video game character audition. I'm going to break down a script for you and show you where I find a script, and also help you figure out how to approach those video game character lines in your audition. I love playing video game characters. It's my favorite genre to work in. I've been so lucky to be hired a couple dozen times now for lots of different characters. I've played a spoiled child. I've played a diva warrior princess, which was very fun. Lots of witches. Teenage archer. So lots of different characters. It's very, very fun. And I'm going to walk you through how I approach a video game audition. Okay, so to find a script, I went to the Global Voice Actors Academy website. I like GVAA in general. I think they're a really good organization. And they have coaching, and they also have this script library that you can access. You can also Google script library for voiceovers, and you can find several of these. And these are copyright-free materials that you can use for practice or for script workouts. And I picked the character Winger. I don't know anything about her except for what's on this sheet of paper, so we're going to learn about her together. Down on the bottom, you can see the sample line, so this is what we're actually going to be reading, but I'm not going to worry about this right now. We're going to first find out who this character is. Understanding who she is will give us the information we need to read the lines properly. So evidently, she is a commander who tests the player's battle skills. Okay, so that tells me that this is some kind of fighting game. And I can see how she's dressed here, and I see she's got a little shield, and she looks like she is ready to kick some butt and maybe do some martial arts or something. So let's find out more about her. So here they've given her some information about her personality, and I love when they do this. This is really helpful. So she's self-assured, bold, and enjoys life in the fast lane. Winger is aware of her inexperience and is friendly to fellow noobs. That said, she's no pushover and gives it her best shot every time. Okay, so that's a great start. That gives us some backstory and gives us a little bit of insight into who she is. They've also given us some voice notes, so what they want her to sound like. So they want her to sound smart, feisty, and resilient, like Jennifer Lawrence. And a lot of times they will give you these celebrity references, and that doesn't mean that you need to do a Jennifer Lawrence impersonation. It just means that they want you to take that into account when you're giving this character some life and some personality. She's a comforting, big sister character. Okay. So that gives us a pretty good idea of who she is. Okay, so all we're going to do today is focus on this first line, this seriously. How exciting is this line? And we're going to talk about how you approach any kind of dialogue in a video game. And you could, for your audition, just read it with no context. Seriously, how exciting is this? But your audition will likely be better if you take some time to think about what's happening in the scene in which this line is read and give it more context. And let's talk about how you do that. Okay, so the line that we're working with is, seriously, how exciting is this? Now, you could just say it. You could give it a little life, give it a little Jennifer Lawrence energy, and say, seriously, how exciting is this? And that might be good enough. That might be good enough to get you the job. Especially if you happen to have just the voice that they're looking for. But what you can do to make it even a little bit better is put just a little bit more thought and work into creating the scene in which this line is read, which will help give it a little bit more context, and it'll give it a little bit more life and bring to life that character a little more, which is what you're trying to do. You're not trying to just make a funny voice or read the lines in a funny, cool way. You're actually trying to bring a character to life. That's what the casting director is looking for. So with this seriously, how exciting is this? There's a couple things that I think about before I even start to say it. First thing is, where is she when she says this? Well, we know she's some kind of commander that's testing the battle skills of the player. So I'm going to assume that she's outside. First thing I think, is she inside or outside? I'm going to assume she's outside in some kind of arena where they're doing battle, having a tournament maybe, and they're testing the player's battle skills. So that's first. Next, who's she talking to? I'm going to assume the way that she's saying this is that she's kind of standing off to the side, not participating in that moment. And she's talking to one of her colleagues, maybe another commander who also does training of these battle recruits. And she's saying to him, seriously, how exciting is this? The other thing that I think about is what happened right before she says it. What is she responding to, right? And I imagine that maybe something really good happened with one of her recruits that she's been training. Maybe one of her recruits just did something really good, won a battle, got over some hurdle they'd really been working on, and finally accomplished something that they'd wanted to, and she's excited. And also you want to think about who just said what before she says this line. And I'm going to assume that the commander standing next to her says something along the lines of, "Oh, this is really great." And then she responds to him. So the scene is she's outside, tournament going on, lots of stuff happening. She sees something happen that she's excited about. This guy says, "Wow, that was really good." And then she's happy, she's excited. There's a lot going on. You have to bring that physically into your body. You have to get that happiness. Yes, she's responding to it. This is awesome. Seriously, how exciting is this? It has a lot more life to it that way. The other thing that you can do, and that is perfectly accepted in video game auditions, is to ad-lib some sounds. And I highly recommend doing this. I wouldn't do this for a commercial read or an audiobook, for example, but in video game reads and character reads, absolutely okay. So if we go back to that first scenario where she's excited, she sees the good thing happening. The commander says, "Oh, this is great." And she goes, "Ah, seriously, how exciting is this?" That little in the beginning, first of all, it puts you in the right emotion. And a lot of auditions that these casting directors are going to listen to are going to start with seriously. But your audition is going to start with like, "Oh my God, I know, right?" And that's just going to break up the ear. They're listening over and over and over again to the same thing. That little gives a tiny something different to your audition that breaks up the ear for the listener after they've listened to 30 auditions before yours. So those are just a couple of tips for approaching a very simple line. Seriously, how exciting is this?